Well, are you looking into moving into southeastern Virginia Beach or living here and you're trying to find more information about it? Well, today we're talking all about the real estate, what to do, shopping, schools, everything about living and moving to southeast Virginia Beach, and we're starting right now. Hey, my name is Sansalone and I'm a real estate agent in Hampton Roads, Virginia, and I do videos every week about living and moving to Virginia Beach and the areas around Virginia Beach. Today we're talking about the southeastern corner of Virginia Beach. It's a huge city, right? We've talked about all the different parts of Virginia Beach, but I wanted to talk about this section because I've talked to a lot of people recently about moving here, and they've had a lot of questions about this area. What are the main reasons why moving there makes sense, and also why it might not make sense. So we'll talk about all the pros and cons, and especially at the end I'm going to talk about the things I don't like about this area and the things that might keep you from wanting to move here in the future. So where on the map is this southeastern section? Well, if you look at it, right at the ocean front there. Just south of there you'll see Dam Neck. That is the eastern kind of corner of this section I'm talking about. And if you draw a circle around that and the Oceana Naval Air Station just west of there, all the way down like into the country. So the first question is, why do people move here? Well, it's the southeastern corner, but because of that, there's lots of country and lots of suburbs. So that's one of the reasons why people do move here, is that combination. It's hard to find that combination in Virginia Beach or anywhere around in this area, because a lot of the areas in Virginia Beach are older. Like you'll see a lot of 50s and 60s style houses, those more cut up style houses. So this area has more planned subdivisions and just more newer feels to it that you might find in other cities that have similar new developments. And so this creates a familiarity, I think, and also just it creates a nice new feel that you might not be able to find as easily in other parts of the city. But as you go further south into areas called Pungo and Blackwater, this is country. Just that total country living that you can't find in most of the rest of the area in Virginia Beach. So if you want to be in Virginia Beach, but you also want country or close to country, this is a pretty good option for you. Number two is the high-ranking school systems. So you've got Kellam and Ocean Lakes high schools, and these are some of the higher-ranked schools in Virginia Beach, and Virginia Beach has some of the higher-ranked schools in the state. So these are in high demand, and so because when houses come up here, they oftentimes will go off the market quickly because of these school districts. Kellam just built a multi-million-dollar new school in this section too. State-of-the-art. It's probably the nicest school in Virginia Beach right now. There are a couple middle schools, Corporate Landing Middle and Princess Anne Middle, but then there are several elementary schools, Three Oaks, Princess Anne Elementary, and Red Mill Elementary. So you can check up the rankings and see what you think. The next is the proximity to Dam Neck and the Oceana Naval Air Station. These are two military bases in the southeastern corner, and people that are stationed here, you can live in the southeastern corner and commute in little as 5-10 minutes and sometimes 20 minutes. The next is you're close to shopping. There are several large shopping centers in this area. Red Mill, Strawbridge. There are some other smaller ones that get built up around here too. So your essentials, your grocery stores, Harris Teeter, there are several here, and Kroger. You're not too far away from any necessities, so you could basically stay in this section and do most of your living here without driving too far. But if you like Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, you're about 15 to 20 minutes away from the one Whole Foods and Trader Joe's in Virginia Beach, which is in Hilltop, just northwest of this section, right on Laskin Road. So, but if there's other stuff you might want and you can't find in this Red Mill Strawbridge section, you can find yourself going a little bit further northwest into Hilltop, where there are a lot of other different shopping areas as well. So let's talk about the things to do in the southeastern section. First of all, you've got a lot of outdoor stuff. You've got Back Bay Wildlife Refuge is one in this very southeastern corner of Virginia Beach, and Falls Cape State Park is right next to Sandbridge also. So if you like camping or hiking, these are some sections where you might find a lot of options, and especially close to where you're living. But then if you go further west, you've got the Military Aviation Museum, which is interesting, but then the funny part about this is that there's a dinosaur park right in the front of the building. But in addition to that, further south in this corner is Munden Point Park. This is a large publicly funded park in Virginia Beach. The biggest draw for me is there's an 18-hole disc golf course. I'm not very good at disc golf, but I like this course. And so it's a drive for most people if you don't live in this section. And of course also the beach. So you've got several beaches here. You're about 15-ish minutes, maybe 20 to the ocean front, where most of the tourists go to on the coast itself. But then if you go just south of there, you've got Croatan. This is a neighborhood, but around the beach there's a dedicated parking area and a place that if you don't want to be right in the middle of all the hustle, you can go just south in this Croatan section. But then if you go further south from there, this is the one thing that you have here that most people in the area in Virginia Beach don't have, is quick access to Sandbridge. Sandbridge is like a resort destination beach. A lot of people will come to Sandbridge from different parts of the country and the world to vacation, and the drawback to Sandbridge is that it's so far away from most people in Virginia Beach or other cities. But you being in this southeastern section, you're only 10 to 15 minutes away from Sandbridge Beach itself. And if you like golf, there are 3 golf courses close by. There's Heron Ridge, Hells Point, and Virginia Beach National, which is just outside of the southeastern section. Now, if you don't like outdoor activities, this is part of the problem in this section. You've got suburbs, you've got shopping, you've got restaurants we'll talk about in a second. Other than that, there's not a whole lot here to me outside of the outdoor activities. So that's not a drawback necessarily, but getting to Norfolk, downtown Norfolk for nightlife is a good 30 plus minutes easy. And especially like downtown Virginia Beach even is about 20 or so minutes plus. So getting to somewhere like nightlife, it's gonna be hard to get there easily from this section. And let's talk about some restaurants. This area has some good new restaurants because this area, generally speaking, is a new development. There are 3 I wanna mention. So in Pungo, I've mentioned this one before, called the Bee and the Biscuit. It's a breakfast brunch kind of place. I really like it. I heard a ton of stuff about it before I went the first time, and I was like, I was kind of skeptical, but very, very good. The drawback here is you've got a long line. The wait time is usually long, especially on the weekends, so you have to get there early to have a seat oftentimes. That's in Pungo. And also another controversial one is Margie and Ray's. It's a small seafood place in this Pungo section as well. It's an old, it's been there for a long time. It's a staple of Pungo, and people love Margie and Ray's, but there are some people that think it's terrible. So it's one of the more controversial restaurants I've heard about in Virginia Beach, really honestly ever. A couple of others that are new that I really like. Blue's Seafood is one of the best seafood restaurants in Virginia Beach by far. You can check it. Just look up the ratings. You'll know what I'm talking about. A new one also I've heard about but I have not been to yet is Huntley's Place. This is a breakfast brunch place too. So we need a lot of good breakfast and brunch places. There are some good ones, but every time I hear of a new one being added, I think there's still like a market for extra good ones. So this one I'm going to check out soon. But now let's talk about the real estate. So there are a lot of different options here, and this area has developed over time. It used to be pretty much a lot of it all country. You know, you got the bases, but then you got a lot of country area. Well, in the 90s, 2000s, more houses were developed. So you've got in the north side there, you've got Ocean Lakes. This area is really important because it's one of the more lower priced neighborhoods in the Ocean Lake School District, and it has an HOA with a pool, which is also really hard to find, or more hard to find than I'd like to say. So it's a large neighborhood. You can have townhouses in here and single family houses, and you can get a wide range of sizes, but you can start in the mid 200s, go up to the mid 300s, and up beyond there, 400 or so plus. But it just depends on which kind of house you're looking for. But if you want like the HOA vibe, plain subdivision vibe, and it's a large subdivision, this is a great option if you want to stay in the Ocean Lake School District. Now moving past that, some other great neighborhoods. Park Place is a small but real secluded neighborhood, and also neighborhoods in Red Mill. So Red Mill is another neighborhood right near Ocean Lakes, and it's a very highly discussed and talked about neighborhood, and it's got that neighborhood mature tree feel that is hard to find in this area for the price. So Red Mill, you're talking $350, $450 for the most part, and some other neighborhoods nearby here that have that same price range also. But then as you go further south, you will find more larger houses. So this is where you get into the $400,000 to $600,000 price range and the $600,000 to like $850,000 price range. So there are a lot of great neighborhoods in here that are also in high demand for this price range. So let's mention first Courthouse Estates. This is one of the most in-demand neighborhoods in Virginia Beach, I gotta believe now. I mean, I've been working with a client who we just put an offer on a house in this neighborhood just now, and they had 23 offers in a day. And it's crazy right now. But like this this neighborhood specifically is in high demand. It's nice because it's close to shopping, close to a lot of suburbs, but you're also feeling like you're in the country also because it's tucked away, farmland and then neighborhood, farmland neighborhood. So it feels like you're in that country area, but you're not too far away from things. People like this neighborhood too because it's got the open floor plan. It was built in a time that became in style. The drawbacks to this neighborhood are most of the yard sizes are a little bit smaller. So if you want large yard sizes or separation from your neighbors, this is not the place for you, I don't think. But you got more. You've got places like Heritage Estates, Matthews Green, Indian River Plantation even, and High Court, which is a cool little neighborhood right near the courthouses. Big houses, but small lots again. And others like Eagle's Nest. You got Christopher Farms, you got Kingston Estates, and then the area called Asheville Park, which is highly discussed. This one is also in big demand because that's got the complete package, I think. HOA, swimming pool, fitness center. It's just real nicely designed, and it's in this southeastern section, pretty close to the bases. It's got the great open floor plans. It's just a real nice neighborhood. There are a couple of drawbacks to this neighborhood. One is that there has been some flooding history here, specifically here. Do some just research, Google Asheville Park flooding, you'll see what I'm talking about. I think they're trying to do their best to resolve these draining issues. That's the first thing. Second thing is that part of the HOA, you are paying for a cable and internet package. Not a lot of people like that when I talk to them about HOAs that have built-in wireless packages. Another one called a Heritage Park nearby there, and one of my favorite neighborhoods in Virginia Beach, anywhere, is Lagamar. So this is the one if you go just further east, if you're not really into this planned subdivision that's like new, not too many trees, and too cookie cutter style, Lagamar is the unique spot that, like, if it wasn't so far into the corner of Virginia Beach, my wife and I would love to be here. But trees galore, a nice wide quiet streets. The houses are so unique. Each one, you don't really feel like you're in a planned subdivision. There's a new side of Lagamar and there's an old side of Lagamar, and each one has different school districts. So make sure if you do want to move in Lagamar, you know which one you're moving to, because there's a new side that has larger houses and newer houses in them, but they're very close together. These two neighborhoods are close together, and the benefit too is you are pretty close to Sandbridge. Again, you're not that far away and from the rest of the bases. But the price ranges in Lagamar can be $600,000 to $800,000 for the most part. You can find some that are under $600,000. And that's the way it goes for a lot of these neighborhoods that they're in that 3,000-ish size in the southeastern corner. You've got mostly you're talking about $450,000 to $500,000, upwards of $700,000 to $800,000. And you'll see some that are cheaper. You'll see some that are more expensive. Especially the next one is Sandbridge. Sandbridge is literally like a neighborhood on the beach and oceanfront. So the properties in here are starting at $800,000, $900,000 for the most part, but they go over $1 million real easily, especially on the oceanfront itself. $1.5, $2 million plus. The next section is also Pungo, Back Bay, and Blackwater. This is the country section that we've talked about. I did a video about this section too, but there are a lot of larger houses spread apart. They're built on a lot of agricultural land. So if you want that unique custom build, like 5, 6 bedrooms sometimes, these are the places where you can find those for the most frequently. And you're not too far again away from the bases, so that is a benefit. Drawbacks here, there are a couple. One is the flooding element. So if you're close to the ocean and Back Bay, as the wind blows inland from the east to the west, the areas closest to Back Bay can flood. So it depends on where you are in this area as far as if you're going to get any flooding or how much flooding, like for instance on the roadways or on your yard itself. I have friends that caught fish in their front yard in some of these sections. I mean, it's real, but it's not all the time. So it really depends on where you are. I would suggest talking to neighbors, your real estate agent, to really find out how important or significant the flooding is for the area or specifically the house that you're looking at. The next drawback is well and septic systems. If you don't like this, so because you're in the country, you're not connected easily to the city utilities. So water and sewer. You have wells and septic tanks. So the maintenance and replacement costs are a lot. Like septic tanks, replacement can be anywhere from $12,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 or more in some cases. And then there's also maintenance, but you're also not paying the city for those services. So it probably kind of close to balances out to me money-wise, but again, it depends on if you really care about the septic systems. I would just do some research to find out if it's something you want to maintain over a long period of time. Now let's talk about the reasons why people don't want to live here and why I don't want to live here. Number one is the proximity to other things. Now I mentioned you're close to a lot of things down in the southeastern section, but once you go outside of this section, it's a long drive, or it can be a long drive. So it can take you 30, 40 minutes to get to Norfolk sometimes. The base NOB in the top corner, it's 40 plus minutes a lot of cases. Not to mention Hampton, Newport News is going to be an hour plus, and you got to plan for the traffic. It might be hard to get a lot of friends to come if they live on the opposite side of town because it feels so far. I can attest to that because I used to live on the western side of Virginia Beach, and just driving towards this area felt like it was like in the country, super far. That's a drawback. The next drawback is the jet noise. The ACU's noise zone map, I'll put it in the link below, but here's a picture of it. If you look at the Dam Neck Naval Air Station there, you'll see the landing strip going northeast to southwest. Well, the closer you are to that landing strip, the noisier it's going to get. But if you look at the dark sections, as it gets lighter, the noise generally decreases. So the further you are away from the landing strip itself means you have less noise, generally speaking. So there are a lot of neighborhoods that feel like they're close to the landing strip, but if they're far enough away east or southeast, you really don't hear the jet noise that much. It also depends on if you've been here before or if you're used to jet noise, because the noise tolerance for different people changes. And so I would definitely ask neighbors, if you do have a house you're looking at in these sections, just check the jet noise zone map first of all, and then also talk to some neighbors to see really how frequently and how loud the noise actually is in the neighborhood and the street that you're looking at. So if you're interested more about living or moving into Virginia Beach, just click these couple links here. There's some more videos that you can learn more about this area, and also you can subscribe to my channel as well. And always reach out to me if you have any questions or plan to move here, and I can help you relocate to this area. And I will see you on the next video.